Hey everyone, how's everybody doing out there tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. I'm glad to be back with the live stream. It seems like it's been forever since I got to talk to you guys in a live stream, because this past weekend I was gone. I went down to Shreveport Bossier City for Mardi Gras. Had a lot of fun, but I think I picked up some kind of bug or sinus infection or something on my trip, so I apologize if I sound a little nasally, and I'll try not to sniff and snort too much during the live stream. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for deciding to drop in and hang out with us for a little bit. We have a great community here. I'm a small channel. I share missing persons, cold cases, some current true crime in the news, and more. Tonight is going to be our True Crime After Dark live streams that I do every once in a while, a little later in the night. Tonight we're just going to talk about some current true crime that's been in the news, and I have some updates on some missing persons that I've featured, and just whatever. I do have stuff planned, stories planned, articles to read to you, but we can talk about, as always, anything that you guys want to talk about. So we're waiting for some people to come in. Like I said, if it's your first time here, I've already told you what I do. I usually concentrate on these smaller, not smaller, the missing persons and cold cases that don't get the national attention, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't even get local attention that they deserve. So that's what I usually do. I have Missing Person Monday. I have a case of the week. Sometimes on Wednesdays, if I find something true crime related that I find interesting and think that you guys might find interesting, I'll make a video, do a video for that. But so for small channels like mine, any subs, like, shares, comments helps tremendously to help get the more subscribers, like, shares, comments, the more the Facebook, the more that YouTube pushes out this information, pushes out my channel, the videos that I make and live streams. And that's the most important thing, is to get the information out about the missing persons and cold cases. That's the heart and soul of my channel. It always has been. It always will be. So thank you to everybody who has supported me from the beginning, who is supporting me now, who will support me in the future. Every little thing is appreciated. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group and a Facebook page, also called, obviously, Southern Gal True Crime. I do post stuff there that I don't post on YouTube, just to give a little incentive to, of course, the Facebook. The group is a private group. Of course, it doesn't cost anything to join. So in the Facebook group, we can chat and give a little bit more of our opinions, because anybody who's not a member of the Facebook group cannot see what people in the group post. So it can be a little freer about how we talk about things. Then, we try to be professional and courteous and here on YouTube. But what else? I'm trying to get all my shameless plugging out of the way. You can also contact me if you have any questions, comments about what I do, about any stories, cases that I share, or if you have a case that is dear to your heart, maybe somebody involves somebody or happened in your home state or hometown, or just any case from anywhere that you think is not getting enough attention, you can email it to me. Please give the name of the victim, the state it comes from, any information you have. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to, I feel like my camera's not right as usual. I feel like I'm staring off into space instead of looking at the camera. Anyway, lost my train of thought as always. So, reset. Send me that information, and on my and even on the small channels like mine, I will do my best to share the story or the case that you want me to share, and to get that information and awareness out there. If you would like to help support the channel and also help support searches for the missing, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. I have a PayPal Me account now. I have Southern Gaucho Crime merchandise, all of the links. You can find all the links in the About section of my page. And I don't know if I have any of my mods here tonight. If I can, because once again, I go through my cell service to do this, and it's been a little bit sketchy tonight, so hopefully I won't completely disappear, but all the links to the PayPal Me, Buy Me a Coffee, the merch shop are all in the About section of my page. And after this stream ends, when YouTube will let me go in and edit, all the information, links, and everything will be in the description box. All right, I think that's all my shameless plugging. Like I said, tonight we're just going to take the spinner down, or I'll forget, and it'll be up the whole show. Junior was here earlier. He says, hopefully I'm awake. And as you see, I put hopefully I am too, because like I said, with this, I don't know if it's just a little bug or something I caught being around all the people when we were down at Mardi Gras, but been feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'll be fine. So we'll see if some more people come in. I see there's one person here right now. I don't know who it is. If you're a lurker, welcome. If you want to say hi, it may be Junior. I don't know. He may have fallen asleep. I'll try to stay awake during the is everybody ready for the Super Bowl? That's what I'm gonna be doing all day tomorrow, is vegging out in front of the TV, watching all the pre-game hype and festivities, and then watching the game. So who you guys, anybody that comes in or watching replay, well, I guess replay, if you watch it tonight, who you guys rooting for, the Chiefs or the Niners? Our household is going to be divided because I'm a Chiefs fan and my mom is a Niners fan. But I told her I do like the Niners too. But so I told her I would be happy either way. But she says that since in 2020 the Chiefs and the Niners played in the Super Bowl, Chiefs won, I think, by about 10 or 11 points. And then the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. They beat the Eagles by, I think it was 38-35 by 3 points. So she says it is the Niners' turn this year to win. And like I said, I told her, as long as it's a good, close, competitive game, I'll be happy. So, all right. Like I said, this past weekend, I went down to Shreveport, Bossier City for a little Mardi Gras parade, and I love going down there. There's an owl on the prowl in the house. We better watch out. Nope, it's our friend Dave. If you don't know, Dave has changed his channel name to Owl on the Prowl, which is appropriate, because I got to thinking, because for one, he's always talking about that he is listening and driving. So I kept asking him, what do you do? I thought maybe it's part, and it may be part of his job. why he was always driving at night, and he said he had to check on the owls. So then that made some sense. But then he changed his channel to Owl, the name of his channel to Owl on the Prowl, and that kind of, because if you don't know Dave, he covers true crime, stories in the news, and does a very good job. Please go check out Dave. His link. And Dave, I know you don't like to do it, but you have a wrench. You can put your channel link in there. Because if I try to do it right now, I'll probably crash and burn, and it'll turn into a dumpster fire 11 minutes into the show. But his link is on the homepage of my channel. You scroll all the way down to please visit our friends and Owl on the Prowl. And I got to thinking the other day that Owl on the Prowl could tie in a little bit to the true crime reporting that he does, because prowling around looking for stuff, true crime stuff and news stories to bring you. He may not agree with me, but he said, why are you saying And he says, I love my birds. Yep, I love birds too. I love all critters. Spiders and bugs, not so much, but unless spiders come at me and try to attack me, I'll leave them alone. But if they're coming at me, they gotta go. Oh yeah, Dave did it. There it is. Sorry, my computer's slow tonight. There's two me's here tonight once again. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there's Dave, link to Dave's. No, you put in mine. Dave, you're supposed to put in your channel. It's okay. They got my channel if they're here. Don't make me have to go out and crash and burn and put your link in there for you. And are you still gonna do a live late tonight, early this morning? I think you said you were gonna do one tonight, or it might have been tomorrow. I don't know. I'm confused. As usual. I think I've taken too much cold medicine. But anyway, please check out Dave. Dave is great. We love Dave. He does a very good job. He's very sharp, very smart, has very good insight on everything that he covers. He's done. He has very good insight and opinions about Delphi. So I'm waiting for him to do another. Second me just crashed and burned. I'll have to get it back up, maybe, or not, or may have to go old school and do it manually on my phone. Maybe it'll let me back in. See, I think I'm boring everybody because I think Dave's the only one that's here right now. That's all right. All right, I think I'm back. The second me is back. All right, good. Dave says he will be on later. Yes. So apparently there's not a whole lot of night owls out right now, because I think me and Dave are the only one in here. But hey, that's all right. Watching replay is just as good. But Dave asked, are you having storms? Not tonight. Last night, yes, we were having very bad storms. We had tornado warnings popping up everywhere, because I think I was in Chris's chat when Chris was doing his live. I think it was Chris, because I put, I was in chat, chatting and listening to what Chris was talking about, and was what had the news. We were trying to watch something on TV too, and we had it on one of the local channels, and then I think we were actually watching the 6:30 news, and during the news they started interrupting because tornado warnings were popping up, and they keep getting closer and closer to where we were. But thank goodness there was one confirmed tornado. It was an EF1, I believe, but it was north, trying to picture the map in my head, northwest of us, or maybe southwest of us. Anyway, it missed us. It went south, but it did do a pretty good amount of damage in the place where it hit. They said it was an EF1, about 500 yards wide, and had a path of about 2.5 miles. course, took down trees, power lines. I think it said one tree fell on a house, but nobody was injured that they reported that they knew of. So that's very good. Yeah, Dave says, wow. Yeah, but that's just in Arkansas. In Arkansas, we can get, of course, we have our tornado season in the spring, but then we also have what they call our second tornado season or severe weather season, and what they call Dixie Alley, which is like Arkansas, Louisiana, and eastward. So it's not unusual for us here in Arkansas and Louisiana, east of us, Alabama, and that area, Georgia, to get tornadoes and severe weather in the wintertime. That's just the way it is down here in the southeast. We're used to it. It doesn't mean that we don't let our guards down, but we're always stay safe, because I think I made mention in the comments in, I think it was Chris's chat, Mom Crew's chat, that if I disappear, it means the tornado's coming towards us and I'm going to go hide in the bathtub, because we don't have a storm shelter or a safe room down here, because our house is, let's see, I'm 52 and our house is probably 35 years old, because I was a preteen, or maybe 12, 13, 14 when this house was built that we're living in. So we don't have a Freddy hole, as we call it, or a safe room, but we do have a bathroom that is in the very middle of the house. So if we don't have time to make it to town to the storm safe rooms or storm shelters, then we just get in the bathtub or get in the bathroom and pray for the best. So far, we've been lucky. Thanks, Dave. Yep, Dave says stay safe. Yep, it's quiet here. Today we've had rain, just rain, rain, rain. I think that's why another reason I've been really sleepy today is because when it rains, because I've had my window cracked to let some fresh air in, because it's been 65, 70 degrees. So between the rain and the cool air coming in on me, it's been making me sleepy. But anyway, I see people popping in and out. I think I'm boring them, so we will get started if I can. So first, we're going to start off with some good news. This is Tina Atkinson. Thank you, Dave. Dave says he will keep an eye on the weather for you. Thank you, my friend. I can always count on Dave. Me and Dave go way back. From the old, when I first started, before I started my channel, I would always see Dave in Mr. Steve at True Crime Web, who definitely go check out Mr. and Mrs. Steve at True Crime Web. They are wonderful, my inspirations for starting my channel. But I would always see Dave in True Crime Web chats, and then the old when Mr. Steve was doing his morning watch lives, which he would do, I think it was midnight his time. It was 11 Central Time where I'm at. Dave was always there. Dave was part of the morning watch waffle crew, as we called it, because we would start out talking about true crime and then always devolve into some kind of food that involved Waffle House. So anyway, that's why we love Dave. So this is Tina Atkinson. She is 17 years old. She had went missing from Springdale, Arkansas. Can't read the date. In early January, but she has been found safe, according to this information came from the Morgan Nick Foundation Facebook page, and I will put a link. I always put a link to all the missing persons I feature, all the sources I use whenever I'm doing a case or doing this true crime. I always put that in the description box so that you guys won't know or won't think that I'm just pulling it out of my arse. And I'd use credible news sources. I try to do this true crime stuff the right way, like I learned from Mr. and Mrs. Steve and Chris from the Mob Crew, and some others. Do it the right way. Don't do it just for the attention, the clicks, and all that mess. Do it because you're passionate about it, you want to help, that is the right reason for doing this. So Tina has been found safe. So we got that. That brings us to tonight's current featured missing person. This is Abigail Conway. She is just 17 years old, a white female, 5'7", 220 pounds, with black eyes and blonde or strawberry blonde hair. She went missing on January 28th of this year from Morrison, Arkansas. So if you're in the Arkansas area, Morrison area, please contact. And if you have any information, if you may have seen her, know anything about her, I don't know if it's runaway, disappearance, or contact the Morrison Police Department at 501-354-0131. And like I said, I will put this link in the comments as soon as the stream ends, because it will let me do a comment immediately. And when it, like I said, once again, when it lets me go in and after the stream ends, usually takes 12 to 24 hours before it will go in and let me edit, and I'll put all the links and everything in the description box. So now, unfortunately, we have some sad news. This is Mr. Jack Morrison. And anybody, let me get a quick drink. Anybody who's been watching my channel on a regular basis, or in the last last month, I featured Mr. Morrison. It's been over a month now ago when he went missing. I believe I found his information. Once again, the Morgan Nick Foundation Facebook page had shared it from one of the Oklahoma law enforcement pages, but he had went missing, and he had gone out. He was 83 years old. He had COPD, dementia. He was a diabetic. Apparently his dog had ran off. He had gone out to look for his dog, and he never came home. Of course, there was numerous searches for him by the community law enforcement. They pulled out all the stops. But unfortunately, I think on February 6th, let me see when this article is from. Unfortunately, he was found deceased. So that just breaks my heart. Whenever I feature a missing person, I always keep tabs on it, look for any updates of, hopefully, of them, the missing, being found safe, or like this case, unfortunately, the alternative. So I just have a little information about, and this is from February 6th of this, and it comes from, where's it come from? Newschannel10.com, which I'm assuming is one of the local, either Texas or Oklahoma news sites. It says missing Beaver County man found deceased near Shattuck, which is in Oklahoma. So it says the Beaver Police Department says missing man Jack Morrison has been found deceased. 83-year-old Jack Morrison was last seen on January 7th when he left to look for his dog. The dog, Salty, did return safely home. Unfortunately, Mr. Morrison did not. He was last seen. Now, they did track him using video surveillance footage from different businesses. They had tracked him driving south out of Beaver County. I'm still unclear. I know there's Beaver County, but I don't know if there's a town named Beaver. But at any rate, he was last seen on surveillance videos from different businesses driving south out of Beaver towards Booker, Texas, and he was caught on video in Canadian, Miami, and Pampa, Texas. So it says around 2:45 p.m. today, which was the 6th of February. Beaver County Sheriff Reuben Parker Jr. was notified by the Ellis County Sheriff that Mr. Morrison had been found around 15 miles south of Shattuck, Oklahoma. And he was found inside his maroon 2000 Dodge Dakota. Of course, his cause of death is under investigation by the Oklahoma ME's office. And of course, the family has been notified. So just said, the longer this went on, I always keep hope alive, but the longer this went on with all the medical problems he had, I was just so afraid that this was going to be the outcome. But at least they were able to find him and bring him home and lay him to rest. He had been married to his wife, Peggy, for 42 and a half years. And they could have been together longer than that before they got married. So I just thoughts, prayers, good vibes going out to his wife, Peggy, the rest of his family. And like I said, cause COD is unknown, but if I was to guess, it would have something to do with all the medical conditions he had. Like I said, diabetic, did not have insulin with him, COPD. They did not know how much oxygen that had left in his tank. That he had dementia. So I think it's, in my uneducated opinion, it's probably going to be, and the weather, I think it was probably pretty cold in around Texas and Oklahoma at that time, because I know it was cold here in Arkansas at that time. So, but at any rate, like I said, at least they found him and were able to bring him home and lay him to rest. All right, let me go see if I'm still in my studio. Yeah, David says, poor guy and family. Absolutely. Just breaks my heart whenever. And I do have it's not his official obituary, but I did find the site. It's probably a local site, local to either Oklahoma or to Oklahoma, that was just kind of like I said, it is an obituary, not an official one, but just it broke my heart when I read it. Yeah, absolutely. Dave says condolences. Absolutely. So this comes from, let me get it. Hopefully I can get it to pull up. Comes from erdc.org. Like I said, I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's a local news site, or just a site local to Beaver County, or where he lived in Oklahoma. And picture there is Mr. Morrison with his wife Peggy. And so I'm just going to read part of this. It says, Jack Morrison, 83, from Beaver County, Oklahoma, was found deceased on February 7th, 2024. His passing is a profound loss to the community and his loved ones. Absolutely. The community mourns the loss of Jack Morrison, who was a beloved member of Beaver County. Jack Morrison's disappearance was a matter of great concern for his family and the community. Like I said, he had left to find his dog. He never returned. The community's response to Jack Morrison's death has been full of sorrow and support. Many have expressed their condolences and prayers for his family. Sorry, I got ads popping up I'm trying to get rid of. The outpouring of support reflects the impact that Mr. Morrison had on those around him. He left a lasting impression on his community. His absence will be deeply felt by all who knew him. His life and memories will continue to be cherished by those he left behind. The loss of Mr. Morrison has deeply affected Beaver County. His family, friends, and neighbors are coping with this in this difficult time. Their grief is shared by the entire community, who stand together in remembrance. Mr. Morrison's legacy is marked by the love and respect of his community, and his sudden departure is a reminder of the fragility of life. Absolutely. His memory will live on in the hearts of those who knew him. Absolutely. Just breaks my heart to read that and to look at that picture of Mr. Morrison with his wife of 42 and a half years. Hello, Michelle C. Good to see you, my dear. I think I saw you earlier for a minute in Mr. Steve's live that he was doing. Always good to have you here. It's good to have everybody here. It's a quiet night so far right now, but that's okay. If I just have one person or two people, that I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. I should have put up I forgot to include my standard disclaimer that I have now. Says me talking to my imaginary audience watching my live stream. What you're about to see is a nightmare. Not talking about the stories, but at any moment my live stream could turn into a dumpster fire. But anyway, hopefully that won't happen tonight. Hopefully some more people start popping in here. But yeah, it's just so sad about Mr. Morrison. But once again, at least they found him and they can, bring him home and lay him to rest. All right, we'll see what we got going on next. So tonight we're just going to talk a little bit about, I do have some articles I can read from. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cassidy Ritchie case. I don't know, some of you may have heard of it, some may not. I had not heard of it. I just happened to come across it when I was on the Google machine, as Mr. Steve calls it, just looking for missing persons or cases content to bring to you guys. And I come across this, and very, very sad case. So I'll bring you the information on that. We'll touch a little bit maybe on the Scott Peterson, because apparently there's the National Innocence Project, but apparently the Los Angeles Innocence Project has taken up Scott Peterson's case. Now I do know, of course, about the Scott Peterson case. I've never done deep dive reading and research into it. I know the basics. So we'll maybe talk a little bit about that. A little bit of an update in the Stephanie Loftin case. Stephanie was the lady. She lived in Florida. She had flown to, I believe, Texas to visit. It was during the holidays around Thanksgiving, Christmas time. She had just had a 6-week-old grandbaby that had been born, so she went to visit the new grandbaby during holidays and the rest of her family. When she went back, she was driving a rental car to the airport to fly back to Florida. She never made it. She disappeared. They found the rental car a few days later. Detectives and law enforcement did investigations, found out some information that tied. It just said a car. I'm not sure, and I don't think it was the rental car, but somehow they tied a suspect, which turned out to be her ex-boyfriend, to her case. And he fled to California. He was ultimately arrested, and he did take them to where he had buried Stephanie's body. So we'll have a little bit about him. Talk a little bit about the 6 people that were found deceased in the California desert. I think 5 or 6 people have been arrested in that case. We'll just go over a little bit about that. Of course, we got the KC Chiefs fans that were found frozen, deceased, and that whole, I don't want to call it a circus, but there's weird things going on, so we'll discuss that. I put, is there a serial offender in Indiana? Because I came across an article about two ladies that had been found deceased by homicide in Indiana within, I think, 2 or 3 days of each other, and within 450 to 500 feet of each other. And first thing that popped in my mind was, do we got maybe a serial offender? And then there were some articles that came out that mentioned serial offender. Someone hasn't been arrested in that case. for both of these crimes, but in the back of my head, in my mind, I still have questions about whether the person, the man that was arrested, could possibly either be a possible serial offender or on his way to being a serial offender. But I will give you the information and let you guys make your own decisions. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Ronald Gene Simmons. Ronald Gene Simmons is an Arkansas case, and I'll give you the basic info on that. He took the lives of 14 members of his own family 34 years ago today, on February 10th, whatever day it is, February 10th, 34 years ago today. He took the lives of 14 members of his own family, or no, 16 members of his own family, and 2 others. So I'll be giving you the basic information on that. And anything else you guys want to talk about? Dave says, I love talking to myself. No arguing that way. I talk to myself, but I also argue with myself, and I usually lose. So I can't say that I like arguing with myself, but I get to where you're coming from, Dave. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay, so this was Stephanie Loftin that I was telling you about. The lady came from Florida to Texas. On her way home, disappeared. The rental car was found. Her ex-boyfriend was arrested, and he has now been charged. This comes from 10news.com. Charges have been filed in the Love County in connection with the Stephanie Loftin homicide case. Michael Gonzalez, who you see pictured there on the slide, is Stephanie's ex-boyfriend, was booked into the Love County jail on Wednesday. And this article is from the 19th. On charges include first-degree homicide and possession of a stolen vehicle. And he has a court date set for February 27th. And of course, like I said, Stephanie's body was discovered in western Love County on January 15th. After this Michael Gonzalez character, her ex-boyfriend, was arrested, he did lead them to her body. And she had been missing since December. So he has been charged. So we'll see. I will keep tabs on this case, as I always do. See what happens with it. But his initial court date, as of right now, is set for February 27th. See if I've missed any comments. I apologize for my voice. I know it. To me, it sounds scratchy and weird. I apologize. But all right, let's see what we got next. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about. This is Ronald Gene Simmons, and I hate this picture of him. Of course, I'm from Arkansas. This is an Arkansas case. I'm very familiar. Oh, I don't want that. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right article. Oh, I know I have it. Once again, technical difficulties. Oh, I know what it was. Okay, I got it. I found it on Facebook. This is Ronald Gene Simmons. I said 34 years ago today, February 10th. He committed the worst mass homicide event in Arkansas history, and they say it is was and is the worst. How do they put it? I know it's in the Facebook article. The worst crime that involved members of a single family in United States history, U.S. history. So this comes from Injustice Arkansas Facebook page. And get to the right article. Today in Arkansas history, on February 10th, 1989, 34 years ago today, Ronald Gene Simmons, Arkansas mass offender, was found guilty in Johnson County Circuit Court of 14 counts of capital M in the deaths of his family members. Simmons' spree is said to be the worst mass homicide in Arkansas history and the worst crime involving one family in the history of the United States. His 6-day rampage left 14 members of his own family and 2 former co-workers deceased. He was later sentenced to the DP. And I did not know this until I read this. I'm definitely going to have to watch or listen. There is a podcast that was recently released by Tony Holt with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, which is our local newspaper here in Arkansas, about the Simmons case. And according to the Injustice Arkansas Facebook people page, they say that they cannot recommend it enough. The podcast is called The Devil of Pope County, America's Worst Family Massacre. Hopefully I won't get struck for saying the massacre. Tony Holt does perhaps one of the most comprehensive deep dives into the case that we have ever come across. Holt interviews people never spoken to before that were involved directly with the case. This podcast is available wherever you listen, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Audible. It is also on Spotify because I checked. Because I have Spotify, that's where I listen to my music and my podcast. So at the first chance, I'm definitely going to look into it. It's broken down into episodes, I think 30 to 35-minute episodes. And I will put a link to it, to the podcast from Spotify in the description section. But aside from this, in my opinion, POS on the screen here, the most important people of this case, in loving memory of the victims of Simmons, whose names we hear much less than his, we will be posting them below. And they are as follows: Ronald Gene Simmons Jr., Bersabe Rebecca Simmons, who is his wife, Barbara Simmons, Loretta Simmons, Eddie Simmons, who were, they had 7 children. Those are 3 of his children. And some of these are grandchildren too, and son-in-laws. Eddie Simmons, Mary Ann Simmons, Rebecca Becky Simmons, she was one of his daughters. William Billy Simmons II, Renata Simmons, who was one of his daughter-in-laws. William H. Trey Simmons, Sheila Simmons McNulty, she was his daughter. Dennis McNulty, Sylvia Gail McNulty, Michael McNulty, Kathleen Kathy Kendrick, and James David Jim Chafin. So those were the victims of this, I'm not going to call him a gentleman, this person, this monster. And I did today on my buy me a coffee account, did for supporters and members, because on my buy me a coffee account, donations or support starts at $2, and then if you want to support me, the channel, and the search for the missing on a monthly basis, I do have a membership, $5 a month. Portions of that go to I can't remember if I mentioned at the beginning, go to a nonprofit organization of wonderful people that go out free of charge and help families search for their missing loved ones and help with cold cases. But I did do an audio recording, a podcast, what I call a podcast, audio recording that gives the details and the condensed form of this case. So if you want to go spend $2 and help support the channel and help support the search for the missing, you can listen to it. But what I read is a very graphic version, so just trigger warning, adult content, because it does involve the harming of not only adults but children, and children that were very, very young. So just fair warning. All right, so that is Ronald Gene Simmons. So if you're interested in this case or would like to learn more about it, please go to Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, and it is called The Devil of Pope County, America's Worst Family M. I'm not going to say, I don't know if the other M word, if YouTube will flag me. So definitely worth checking out. Very horrendous case. It's probably up there as far as infamous Arkansas cases, up there with West Memphis 3, Morgan Nick case, things of that nature. Right, let's check and make sure that I don't go out for a minute and make sure that my computer hasn't frozen up and that I haven't missed any comments. I might have. David said, great channel. I don't know what channel you're talking about. If you're talking about Mr. Steve's channel, True Crime Web, absolutely. Or Chris's channel or any other channel I mentioned. Okay, I think I am caught up in comments. Oh, let me go back full screen so I can read all of the screen. Hey, Mexie. Oh, dadgummit. Hold on. I have to go in and out because on my phone, because sometimes it crops it off. Mexie's here. Hello, Mexie. How you doing? She says, ooh, Dave, love the name. Just dropping in to snuggle that like. Happy weekend, y'all. Thanks for dropping in, Mexie. Always good to have you here. Good to have everybody here. I see there's a few more people trickling in. Welcome to everybody who's here, commenting, lurking, watching on replay. Everybody's support, and like Mexie said, don't forget to hit the like button. That is free, fast and free. It does help the channel. Like, shares, comments help small channels like mine get out there and reach as many people as possible to get this important information. Not that this, what we're going to talk about tonight, is not important, but the most important information, missing persons cold cases, that I usually share and cover out to as many people as possible. Oh, thank you, Dave. Dave said he was talking about my channel. Thank you. You have a great channel too, Dave. I'm telling you, go check out Dave if you hadn't. He is very good at sussing out. That's why I was saying that Owl on the Prowl is a perfect name, because he's good at sussing out lots of things that have happened. He usually does on weekends what do you call it? The weekend true crime, or the weekend whatever. I know what it's called, but my brain's not working right now. A lot of cases that I'd never heard of, Dave was the one that brought them to my attention. Oh, thank you, Mexie. Thank you, thank you. I don't know if Mexie has a channel or not, but if Mexie does have a channel, yeah, anybody here who has a channel, Dave is here. He has a wrench. He can, if you tell him the channel name, he can put it in for you. Michelle C has a wrench too, if she's still here. She can put in any anybody's channel. I don't mind putting any other channels in here. I wouldn't be where I am. Uh-oh. We got royalty in the house. He's gonna get so mad at me for calling him out. I wouldn't be where I am today if not for other channels that gave shout out to my channels. So I want to give back to anybody else that comes in and supports me who also has a channel. Feel free to let us know what it is. Good evening, Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve, we were just talking about you. It's always good when we talk about you. I'm gonna blame it on Dave. Dave always talks about you. No, this True Crime Web, Mr. Steve, welcome. It's always good to have you here, sir. Oh yeah. See, Dave is on it. Steve is in the house. He noticed before I did. I'm trying to multitask tonight and I'm not doing a very good job. Dave, have you not? Thank you, Dave. Dave once again put my channel in there. Dave, put your own channel name, put own channel link in there so people can visit you. Maxie says, Mr. Steve, hello. Oh, Maxie says she does not have a channel, just here for the knowledge. Well, I don't know how much knowledge you're going to get from me, but I just do the best to report, to give you the facts as I find them on the Google machine, as Mr. Steve would say, since he's in the house. So welcome everybody. I'm making sure I haven't missed any comments. Okay, so yeah, definitely check out the podcast, Ronald G. Simmons. Like I said earlier, it's up there with as far as Arkansas cases go. It is up there with the West Memphis 3 case. Things, you know. Dave says Mr. Steve knows Mrs. Steve. Well, I hope so. And hey, Mrs. Steve too. I don't know if she's watching, but Mr. Steve can relay the message. Everybody says hello to Mrs. Steve as well. Hope your whole family, you, Mrs. Steve, baby Steve, double alt, triple alt. I hope your whole family is doing well. All right, before I babble anymore, let's see what we got on the table next. Okay, this is, and let me go ahead and find the Cassidy Ritchie case. Okay, I'm having to, I can't see so good tonight. So, Cassidy Ritchie, while I'm waiting for my slow computer to come up, article to come up, she was found deceased in her SUV. Oh, come on, computer, don't fail me now, because if I can't bring up these articles, we're just going to be babbling, because has anybody here heard of the Cassidy Ritchie case? Let me go back over here and see. Oh, thank you. Mr. C says we will do another collaboration soon. It will be an honor. Just let me know. I know you're busy with far more important things than me, but yes, whenever you have time, whenever is good for you, it's good for me. I would love to do another collaboration. Most definitely, sir. Thank you. Dave says he is not. What have you not? Did you not do something? All right, let me see if my articles come up. Oh, come on. Tell you, we're going to be so screwed if I can't get my articles to come up. Let me go out and try again. Turn into a dumpster fire. All right. Wait a minute. Okay, let me try to see if I can get it to load again. I want to give you the backstory of this case. Oh, there it is. Okay, it come up. It come up. It came up. My southern was coming out really bad when I said that. So this is from Fox 23 News from January 31st, 2024. This is the background information about the Cassidy Ritchie case. It says Tulsa police believe Cassidy Ritchie was inside her SUV the entire time that she was missing. It says Fox 23 is learning more about the details surrounding the disappearance and death of 39-year-old Cassidy Ritchie that's now being investigated as a homicide. Wednesday afternoon, Fox 23 spoke with Tulsa Police Lieutenant Brandon Watkins, who said they still need the public's help in finding the Good Samaritan who pulled her 2006 blue Chrysler Pacifica out of a ditch, and this is Cassidy Ritchie's vehicle, on January 22nd. The best information they have is they believe she would have been in her SUV the entire time she was missing. Sunday, when she last spoke to a member of the family, and then Monday, when the car was wrecked, we believe that she was there the whole time, said Watkins. When we found the car on Friday, obviously she was there multiple days in the freezing weather. Watkins said Cassidy was severely beaten. They are waiting to hear back from the medical examiner as to the exact COD. Investigators believe her husband, Chris Moreland, was with the vehicle until last Wednesday. We know he was attempting to get a ride away from the car on Tuesday, but no one was able to come pick him up until Wednesday morning. So he was there with the vehicle and her, we now know, deceased body for multiple days. As to the Good Samaritan who pulled her vehicle out of the ditch near the I Don't Care Bar and Grill after it was wrecked on Monday, police are still asking for the public's help. We don't know if she was sitting in the car or if she was nowhere to be seen. It will give us a better idea of the timeline, but we're still looking for that person, Watkins said. If anyone has any information on who helped pull the vehicle, the Good Samaritan, who helped pull the vehicle out of the ditch on East Admiral Place, they are asked to call the Tulsa Police or Crime Stoppers at 918-585-5209. According to the Tulsa Police Department's arrest report, Moreland, who was her husband, told officers that he and Cassidy had been arguing on Tuesday, January 23rd, inside their residence. The report also states that he told officers they drove to a park near 11th and Mingo, where he and Cassidy wanted time alone, and they were going to a friend's house in Claremore. He then said he called a friend for a ride and went back home, apparently just leaving Cassidy there by herself, or with her vehicle, or their vehicle. After he was placed under arrest for unrelated outstanding warrants, sorry, ads are popping up. The report states that Moreland admitted that he did assault Cassidy the week before and gave her a black eye. The report also says that Moreland had an abrasion under his right eye that he said came from Cassidy during an altercation. He said that they fought a lot. The arrest report states that detectives conducted a follow-up investigation and were able to prove that Moreland's alibi was false. The report says Chris was never given a ride back home on January 23rd, and that he had the only key to the 2006 Chrysler Pacifica in his possession when he was arrested on January 25th. The Tulsa police arrest report also says it is believed that Chris Moreland took the life of Cassidy between January 21st and January 22nd. Now, we'll get to, he has been arrested or charged. But at the time of this article, it said Moreland has not been charged, but is still being held in the Tulsa County Jail on a $5 million bond on a pending first-degree homicide charge. So that was the background. Now let me find. There it is. Hopefully it'll come up. While I'm waiting, let me go check comments. Mexie says collab. Yeah. if you're talking about me and Mr. Steve, I thoroughly enjoyed and appreciated and so grateful that he gave me the opportunity. I don't even know how long it's been now. 2 or 3 months ago, he let me be a guest on his show to talk about the Morgan Nick case, which is near and dear to my heart, Arkansas case. Dave said he has heard about the Cassidy Ritchie case. Yeah. Like I said, I just came across it when I was searching for content and stories. Dave says he will be heading out soon to get stuff, but I will be listening in the Ferrari. Really? Well, Dave has a Ferrari apparently. Be careful out there, Dave. Seriously, be careful. You always say you're sorry, my cat. Sometime my boss, my supervisor, and sometime co-host was wandering around down there. My cat Tigger, but he decided to leave. Apparently, he needs to learn how to shut the door behind himself, though. Let's see. Yes, Mexi, the bar and grill is literally called the I Don't Care Bar and Grill. You can't make it up. I'm telling you, that is the name of the. He just knocked my brush off and probably broke it. That's okay. Yes, that was the literal name of the bar, is the I Don't Care Bar and Grill. Go figure. Mexi says they weren't alone in their home. I don't know. That's one thing. I'm assuming from the information, I'm just assuming that maybe, no, well, I don't know. She was either her life was taken in their home and because she was found underneath layers of clothing and stuff in the back of the SUV. So I don't know if she was killed at the home and he put her in there and then drove out and staged this wreck, or if they were out, because the husband's story is that they had been in several arguments. They got into the car to go supposedly somewhere to a park to be alone. And yeah, like you said, they weren't alone in their own home. I get what you're saying now. And supposedly they went out to this park area or whatever to be alone. And then whatever happened, they had a wreck because or ran into the ditch because the vehicle was found with damage to the front end that they said looked like it. When you run into a ditch, you get because I have run into a ditch one time. Not my fault, because I was driving well, I guess it was my fault. I was driving on technically snow, but I didn't know there was a little layer of ice under the snow, and I ended up putting my Tahoe in the ditch. But yeah, you get that front end damage if you hit the ditch. But yeah, that's it. It took me a minute to click about what you were saying about they weren't alone in the home. But yeah, so his story, yeah, not adding up, in my opinion. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Maxie also says he had the only key, not sus at all. Exactly. Yep. All right. Hopefully oh, geez, Louise. My articles are not wanting to load tonight. I think I'm putting my computer under too much strain. When did that cancel? Oh, goodness. Dumpster fire warning. I almost took myself out of the second me out of there we go. Okay, so Tulsa man, and this is from February 7th, so a couple 3 or 4 days ago. Tulsa man charged, and I think, well, let me go back and see if I have another slide. I keep forgetting to advance my slides. There we go. Okay. So Tulsa man charged in homicide of wife Cassidy Ritchie arraigned on Tuesday. You can see there on oh, let me take off. I always forget to remove comments too to block. Okay. So there on the left is Cassidy, the deceased, and there on the right is this fine-looking gentleman here who allegedly, at this point, allegedly took her life. So Chris Moore, homicide of his new wife, Cassidy Ritchie. His next court hearing is March 28th. According to, get out. Sorry. Having to discipline my cat. According to court documents, crime scene detectives found Cassidy Ritchie's body in the back of her Chrysler Pacifica on Sunday, January 28th, covered in a large amount of clothing. So yeah, like Mixie said, not sus at all. Allegedly, the husband, wanted to make sure, she wouldn't be found, or it would be, a hot second before she was found. The following day, detectives learned that Cassidy had passed away as a result of multiple blunt force traumas. Court documents also say Chris Moreland told detectives that he had served 18 years in prison for a previous homicide. So, and I just noticed that he said in the beginning of this article, it said it was his new wife. Cassidy was his new wife. I don't know how long they had been married. Also don't know if she was aware that he had previously been arrested for a previous homicide. I'm gonna have to look into this. Like I said, I just found this article maybe yesterday and added it in here quickly. I'm going to do some more research, or you guys out there can do some more research about this Chris Moreland fella and find out if there's any information out there to be found. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. To be found about why or who, or something about this previous homicide charge. He remains in the Tulsa County Jail on a $5 million bond. And as of February 5th, he has been charged with first degree in the death of Cassidy Ritchie. And the district attorney said that Cassidy was beaten to death. Horrible. By her husband, allegedly. Okay, so that was the update. I believe that was all the new information about Cassidy Ritchie. Horrible story. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this one. Let's see what you guys have to say. Hopefully, yep. Makes it says, excuse me. The article said that he went to a park to be alone, and I know that means a couple of things, but if you have your own home, exactly. Yep. You got me thinking. Yep. And yes, front end and undercarriage damage. Mr. Steve says, running into ditches. I have immense knowledge about ditches. You should read my book, Everything I Know I Learned in a Ditch. Oh, God. That's why we love. One of the reasons we love you, Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve can be all business when needed, but Mr. Steve is a funny guy. He's a funny guy. Whenever I say that, it reminds me, I don't know if you guys have seen Goodfellas, when the Joe Pesci, Tommy DeVito character is breaking the cojones of Ray Liotta's character, and you think I'm a funny guy? I'm funny how? Always reminds me. I want Mr. Steve to do that impression whenever we call him a funny guy. Funny how? Like a clown funny? But and I've got called out in comments for And I'm not by no means making light of any of these stories that we're talking about and we'll talk about. But and Mr. Steve said it too. I mean, you got sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying at some of these things that you read. And once again, I know Mr. Steve probably gets tired of me calling him out, but as former law enforcement, he knows he's seen things that he's seen some things, and you have to have compartmentalize, and you have to have that dark sense of humor. Exactly, he just said it, dark humor to get through it. I cannot imagine the things that Mr. Steve and any law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, EMTs, the things that they have to see on a daily basis. Just God bless all of you for doing the thing. It takes a special person to be able to do what law enforcement, first responders, EMTs, firemen have to deal with on a daily basis. So God bless. And our military, we can always, don't ever leave out our military, what they have to see and go through. So God bless everybody who goes out and does that work. All right. So yeah, Mr. Steve, we're going to be waiting for your book. Like I said, I've only run into a ditch one time. I say it's not my fault, but I was trying to get to work, and when we did have snow, just a brief explanation, I'm gonna babble for a minute. We did have snow where I lived, but where I was trying to drive, it was when I was doing my home health caregiving, and just like first, not as important of a job, but just like nurses, doctors, first responders, just because you have a little bit of snow or ice on the road, your client or your patients are counting on you. So I was trying to get to work, and I didn't know that the further north I drove, trying to get to my client's house to check on them, that they had ice that way. So there was a layer of ice underneath the snow, and the road I was on was kind of a hilly and curvy. And I know how to drive on snow. You don't hit your brakes when you let off the gas and all that mess. But I just hit a patch of ice under that snow, and the next thing I know, I crossed the lane of traffic and was in the ditch. I missed a road sign by about 2 inches, but thankfully a nice young gentleman came, and he did manage to get my Tahoe out, got it turned around for me back towards home. I called the office and said, "This is what happened. I'm going home." But luckily, the client that I was going to, she lived with her daughter and her son-in-law. They were both home with her that day, so she was not alone. I was okay. The client was okay. So it worked out. All right. Getting back to business. Mr. C says, I spoke with a mother today for an hour, tears of joy with developments and sorrow as her child is forever gone. Oh, I know you probably can't elaborate, but God bless you. God bless you. And the whole team. I don't know. I'm sure the other team, everybody you work with. I know you work with Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets and everybody behind the scenes. So just whenever and whatever you can tell us, I'm sure you will let us know. But yeah, at least on one side, it's sad that the child is gone, but on the other hand, good developments. So yes, like I said, I know you're limited in what you can say, but thank you for letting us know that bit of knowledge. And God bless you and everybody, all your whole team that works on these cases. Oh, Lone Pony's here. Lone Pony says, I too am familiar with ditches. See, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So far, me and Mr. Steve and you are we're very familiar with going in the ditches. Oh goodness. But yeah, anybody going back to Mr. Steve, I noticed some more people are popping in here. Welcome to everybody who's popped in. If I've missed any comments or anybody that's come in, I'm sorry. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. Everybody's opinion is welcome here. Always, just All I ask is be respectful of victims, the victims' families, and be respectful of each other in a chat and in your comments. Everybody play nice and just have the respect and for everybody all the way around, and victims and everything we discuss, and it's good. But I have faith in this community, because I think me and Mr. Steve at True Crime Web, and now Miss Frankie at the think tank, our mutual communities are the same. So, some of the same people, but they all have the same mentality of respecting everybody, respecting everybody's opinions, and having nice adult conversations about things. All right. All right, let's see what we have going on next. Okay, so this is, and let me find, once again, it might take me a minute to get, this is the two women from, I'm trying to find the right, these are the two women that, and it was reported, or this article that I found out on the left, found on the left, was from February 5th. Two women were found within, I think, 2 or 3 days of each other, and only about 450 to 500 yards away from each other. Both killed, and like I said, 2 to 3 days time frame, found just yards apart, killed in the same manner. And I just, in my little brain, popped up, is this a one-off crime with 2 victims? Do we have a possible serial offender? An arrest has been made. So you see there on the right hand, on February 9th, excuse me for 1 minute. Sorry. February 9th, it was reported that a suspect was arrested in what they call the evil homicide of 2 Indianapolis moms. So, and I still have questions about this. I'm glad Mr. Steve, if he's still here, he might can give some insight. Tell me if I'm off base on what I'm thinking, or just a little nagging in my back of my brain. So, okay. The man accused of the homicides was found with bloody clothes that matched the DNA of both victims. Oh, come on, don't tell me it's not coming up. Okay, all right, here it is. Sorry. Ads. An Indiana man on probation was identified as a suspect behind the shocking homicides of 2 Indianapolis women, with police revealing Friday that his arrest came largely because his alleged victims fought back against him. So apparently they most likely found, fingernails, and they have other evidence too. So David Hiner, 30, who you see on the right side, right part of the slide, and now faces a pair of homicide charges for the killings of Marianne Weiss and Shannon Lassier. Sorry if I pronounce it. And this was announced by Chief Christopher Bailey of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department in a news conference. Bailey said the women, both mothers, who were well known on Indianapolis's east side, their lives were taken by, quote, multiple sharp force injuries. The nature of their passing evoked fear across Indianapolis and sparked a 2-week probe into identifying the offender. Bailey said detectives collected, quote, a significant amount of video from businesses in the area and used forensics to link the crime to Honor, who had just been released from prison in September. And Bailey said, quote, "This was brutal and evil what happened to them, but because they both fought back, we were able to make an arrest." Lassier, 58, was found deceased in a parking lot of Mojave Road on January 27th. 5 days later, the body of Weiss, 52, was found on a back road near Mojave Road, less than 450 feet from where Lassier was found. Bailey said that Heiner knew Weiss and lived in an apartment complex that was within walking distance of where the women were found. The chief did not specify what their relationship was. Heiner was identified as a person of interest last week and was taken into custody for violating his probation in a neighboring county, said IMPD's Deputy Chief Kendall Adams. He was solidified as the suspect after a search of his apartment revealed that he had shoes with dried blood on them and had jeans that were being soaked in bleach in a bathtub. Another pair of jeans were allegedly found in the closet stained with blood. Adams, oh, hold on, I just lost my computer hates me. Just want to get to the good part of the back. I don't know, all of a sudden my computer screen went blank. Okay, sorry. Let me get back to where I was at. Okay, so they found, oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. My computer is crapping out on me. Alright, let me see if I can finish it before it craps out on me again. I so want to throw my computer right now. I do not want to view the PDF. I want to view the story. Oh, don't tell me this is what you have to. Oh, it's one that you have to sign up for. Basically, they found the blood-stained clothes, shoes, blood on his shoes, blood on his jeans, the video evidence, I guess, I don't know, some kind of video evidence, DNA from the women's bodies because they said it was they fought back. So Mr. Steve would, oh, I got to get back into my. So I'm assuming that would mean DNA, skin cells underneath their fingernails, possibly some of his blood on them. He has been charged with 2 counts of homicide. I really wanted to finish reading this article because it gave good information. That was the basic information, though, the important information. All right, let me see if it will let me back into my StreamYard. Let me go old school here for a minute because I know I've got missed some comments. So Mr. Steve says, yes, preparing a briefing for law enforcement and district attorney. I couldn't do it without the YouTube community and their support. Thank you for everything you do, and it is our honor. I want to speak on behalf of everyone to support you and your team, to allow you to do what you guys do. Do the good, wonderful, important work that y'all do. It is very much appreciated, not of course by the families, but by the YouTube community who care about these cases and care about finding justice and answers for these families. So thank you, Mr. Steve, and everybody. All right, maybe I'm getting my second self back up here. Oh, hold on. Could be crashing and burning. Okay, so next, apparently, I'm gonna mute my second self. I'll be having an echo. Okay, so to this case of the Kansas City Chiefs fans. Oh my goodness, is this not a weird? So, show of hands of everybody here, if you want to chime in. Do you think this was a horrible, irresponsible accident, or do you think this was intentional? I know there are and please, like I said earlier, please be respectful. Everybody's opinion is welcome. Just everybody respect everybody's opinions, and let's all get along and respect everybody's opinion, and we'll be good. So just a brief, I found, once again, if it will come up, what some of the families of these three gentlemen who unfortunately lost their lives, what their thoughts are. But they're entitled to their opinions too, of course, as family members. And this is from the New York Post, so I should be able to read all of it because you don't have to sign in or pay for New York Post stuff. If it'll come up. All right, so this is from February 6th, so just 2 or 3 days ago. It says parents of Kansas City Chiefs fans found frozen to death in yard say toxicology findings prove, quote, there's more to the story. Well, yes, there's more to the story, but now doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily mean that it was homicide. It could be, just like I said, a tragic accident, a perfect storm of illegal substances and the weather that came into play. But anyway, according to the family, the parents of one of three Kansas City Chiefs fans found deceased in a scientist friend's backyard say that toxicology reports suggesting that they took a deadly mix of substances only prove, quote, there's more to the story. David Harrington's parents insisted there was no closure from reports Friday saying that their 37-year-old son and friends, Ricky Johnson, 38, and Clayton McGinney, 36, had 3 times the lethal level of, and I don't know, fentanyl. I'm going to say it. I don't know if I can get a strike for that. We'll just say F, but you know what I'm talking about, as well as THC and coke in their systems. What matters is that he didn't take that to die, stepmom Teresa Harrington told News Nation's Chris Cuomo. It just means that there's more to the story. There's more to it than just that. He didn't take that to pass away, she continued. If he took the substances on his own, he took them to get high. Well, I don't do illegal drugs, but I mean, that's usually why people take drugs, is to get high. But anyway, Harrington said her son, quote, wasn't an addict or anything like that, and suggests he may have taken the lethal combination of substances under peer pressure. Well, first of all, just listening to other YouTube creators who are professionals, former law enforcement, they say that if you want to know the truth, and that's not always the case, but 99.9% of the time, if you want to know the truth about what a person, a victim, does in their day-to-day life, you don't ask the family members, you ask their friends, because their friends are going to be more likely to know what they do, if they do illegal, if they partake in whatever. They're going to be more likely to tell their friends. Their friends are going to know. Of course, they're usually not going to tell their parents and family members. But I mean, I can understand, and I'm not in any way blaming or downing the parents. I mean, no parent wants to think that their child could possibly have taken some kind of substance or whatever that either, most likely, in my opinion, accidentally, just like I said, a perfect storm of bad things happening, and they ended up deceased. No parent wants to think that that's how their child passes away, but I do have sympathy and feel for the parents and the families. So her husband, John, also said the toxicology reports do not fully explain how their son and his friends were found frozen and deceased days after visiting their friend Jordan Willis. Now, that is the one thing that I'm not saying, I mean, I don't know one way or the other whether this Jordan Willis, the chemist, as they called him, if he gave them something, if they willingly took something, if this Jordan Willis, because it did say that after the three gentlemen that passed away were found, that he did pack up, move out of the house, and went into rehab. Now, it could be that this Jordan Willis got something from whoever he got his stuff from. He didn't know what was in it. He said, "Hey guys, you want to try this?" They tried it. They went outside for some reason, and didn't know that maybe some stuff was in it besides what they thought was in it, or along with what they thought they were taking or smoking or whatever. Oh my goodness. My computer is driving me crazy. And they went outside and passed out or whatever and froze to death. Like I said, we don't know. We weren't there, but the point I was making, if I can remember it, was that, yeah, why did this Jordan Willis take 2 or 3 days to, because apparently when the parents and friends of the 3 gentlemen, they couldn't get in touch with them after a day or so. They started calling and going to the house, and I believe the girlfriend or fiance of one of the victims ended up breaking a window and going into the basement window, and she was the one that found the bodies and called the police. And then after 3 days, when police came knocking at the door, is when this Jordan Willis decided to come out with a wine glass in his hand or whatever it was. To me, that's the hinkiest part about this whole thing, is what was he doing for those 3 days that his friends were out laying? I mean, he has a story, but who knows? Okay. So her husband, John, also said, toxicology reports do not fully explain how their son and his friends were found. Okay, we read that. According to the parents, they said, quote, somebody gave them something that would take their life. He insisted. saying he believes that the men likely, quote, got them there. I don't know what they mean by that, at the watch party, while conceding he has no way of knowing for sure. And that's the thing. Nobody knows for sure except for the people that were there. And this mysterious, or this fifth guy that came forward 2 or 3 or 4 days after. I don't know what the story with him is. So Harrington's mom also believes it is telling that police made clear that the investigation is ongoing after initially ruling out anything suspicious. The parents say, we keep getting answers that police are still investigating, so there's something there that they're saying maybe that's not right, she said. Now, that could be, but it also could be they're still investigating. I mean, it's not like the police procedurals we watch on TV where everything is wrapped up in an hour. They still have to wait for the tox report, the official tox reports. Apparently they just got the preliminary tox reports. So yeah, they're going to be, once again, so anyway, the parents think that there's something hinky going on, and sorry, oh my goodness. Let me go back to old school. While I'm waiting, once again, I don't know what my computer's doing to me tonight. Google Chrome is not wanting to work tonight. So what do you guys think about, I'm sure you guys have got opinions, about, and I'm sorry if I'm left-handed, so it's going to go across the screen. Let me go back, Lone Pony says accident. I don't know which case you're referring to. I'm behind in comments. Yep. Mr. Steve, our resident expert, says broken nails, evidence from bites, hairs, fibers, all can be found from victims who fight to the end. Exactly. I knew Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve is our CSI guy, among everything else. He's done, for anybody here that doesn't know, Mr. Steve has done just about anything and everything you can do in law enforcement and CSI work. And Mr. Steve also says causing, and this is going back to the two, and I didn't finish, I've got to finish my thought too about this Indiana case. He says causing the offender to leave a blood trail is without a doubt huge. Yes. So, yeah. And I wonder if the blood that they found, because they said, if I can remember right in the article, they found their blood, the two victims' blood on his shoes, on a pair of his jeans, and then he also had another pair of jeans soaking in bleach. But yeah, I'm wondering if they found the women's blood on him or some of his clothing. Because if I remember correctly, once again, my computer's crapping out on me. I'm trying to get back into it. But they said that they died from basically stabbing. I read another article, they said it was stabbing. If his blood was left on, any of his blood was left on their remains. If that makes any sense. I'm trying to do 3 things at one time here. Making sure I haven't lost anything. Hey, CJK, glad to have you here. I think I saw you earlier in Mr. Steve's live. I got to go back and watch the beginning of Mr. Steve's live about the Delphi, Richard Allen. I missed the first of it. I was caught up in supper and all that good stuff. So welcome, CJK. Good to have you here. Yes, Lone Pony says, I think, going back to the, if you're referring to the Kansas City case, Lone Pony says, I think it was all an accident with these guys. Horrible accident. I do too. I think, like I said, it was unfortunately a perfect storm of events. And it could be, everybody's wanting, and we, like I said, we don't know. There's been multiple stories and theories because that's why we have to be careful. One thing I learned from, once again, Mr. Steve and all the responsible creators, Chris from the Mob Crew and everybody out, or not everybody, but the ones I trust that I watch. You have to be careful of all these rumors floating around. Because CJK just said, says Jordan, who was the homeowner or renter, is said to be a supplier. Did he buy the tainted substances or did he create the tainted substances? Did the three men knowingly take them or slip them without knowing? See, yeah, that's the question. That's the mystery. Hopefully they'll get it figured out and we'll know. I mean, unless something else comes out, definitive about this Jordan Willis, that he knowingly supplied them or he supplied them knowingly with something that was laced with F or something else knowingly, and he did not tell them. I mean, I don't know. Mr. Steve could probably tell us if he can be charged with something, whatever, if he could be charged with something like that, or if he got whatever he got from his supplier, and what he got from his supplier, he didn't know what. I mean, it's just all very lots of stuff floating around, but I don't think, like I said, unless something groundbreaking, earth-shattering information comes out about this Jordan Willis, as of right now, from the information that we have at this moment, I think it was a horrible accident. Now it may come to light. Like I said, new information may come out that will make me change my mind. But right now, I think it was just a horrible, horrible accident. Yep. CJK also says, never take anything if it is not prescribed. Exactly. Now, I have never, I think, and I'm 52 years old, and as far as illegal substances, I think I have and not even a whole joint, but I took a puff when if anybody's ever seen the movie Friday, Puff Puff Give. One time in my late 20s, maybe early 30s, I, Puff Puff Give, took a couple hits off a joint. All it did was make me sleepy. I slept really good that night. And honest to God, that is the only illegal substance I've ever done, and I wasn't really impressed with it. Now I do have prescription anti-anxiety and antidepressant drugs that prescriptions that I take, but yeah, I don't take anything other than that, and I wouldn't. Hey, well, I'll go back to you, CJK, but I'll say, hey, Miss Standy, you made it back. How was your night out? Miss Standy was taking a well-deserved night out to listen to, I think she said, listen to some live music and support some bands or somebody she knew that was in the band. I can relate to that. I love me some live music. As a matter of fact, this past weekend when I was down in Shreveport, Bossier City for the Mardi Gras parade and events, the hotel that we were staying at in either Shreveport or Bossier City. I think Shreveport, Bossier City is basically one big metropolitan area. But anyway, the motel that we were staying at shared a parking lot with Louisiana Downs, the horse race track. So it was just a 2-minute walk over. You could walk over to the casino that they have there at the track. And I'm not a casino person. I mean, I might play nickel slots or a quarter slot every once in a while. But I was more interested. They had a live band playing. So I spent my time while my other family members that I was with while they took their chances with some slots. I was over listening to the band. Because if there's a live band playing anywhere, I'm going to find it. And they were really good. They were called Chasing Benjamins. I was going to say Breaking Benjamin, but that's a real, I'm not saying that this group wasn't a real group, but Breaking Benjamin is a rock group, popular rock group, but they were Chasing Benjamins, and they played 80s music, classic rock music. They were really good. As a matter of fact, I did recordings of a couple of songs they did. They did Hard to Handle by the Black Crowes, which is one of my favorite groups, one of my favorite songs. They did Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel. It's an older song that I first heard. If anybody's seen the movie Reservoir Dogs by Quentin Tarantino, they use Stuck in the Middle with You as in the infamous cutting off of the ear scene. But anyway, so Dandy, I hope you enjoyed your night out and your music. All right, I'm so behind again. Yeah, that is the question too. CJK says, how could they prove it all? Prove it all though, in order to charge him. Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Like I said, and Mr. Steve did chime in. He said, I know very little about the case, but I would be surprised if no charges were filed. So you don't think any charges will be filed? Yeah, in a case like this, like as CJK said, how can they prove it? How can they prove that whoever provided the substances, how could they prove that they knew what was in it and what would happen? And, yeah, so it's just, we'll just have to see what happens with this one. I just feel so bad for, of course, the victims and the victims' families. And, yeah, and people are making a lot out of, and I'm not saying, once again, I don't know. I wasn't there. None of us were there. That this Jordan Willis guy was, it was suspicious that maybe the day after, or a couple of days after, there was a U-Haul truck and he moved out. But I also read in another article that because he was renting the place, and that the landlord had made him leave or kicked him out, and he ended up going to rehab. So apparently, allegedly, this Jordan Willis may have had a substance abuse problem if he was going to rehab. So it's all very sad, regardless of how it happened. But yeah, we'll just have to see if any charges are filed, or if there is any cause for any evidence for any charges to be filed. CJK says, I've never tried it, never been interested in it, nor drinking. Yeah. I mean, about the only thing I did, is before I even turned 21, by 15 or 16, I did my fair share of drinking. More, so much so that by the time I turned 21, I was tired of drinking alcohol. And the older I get, I can't handle my alcohol anymore, because going back to my Mardi Gras trip, I had one frozen strawberry margarita, and that was enough for me. That put me down for the count. After that, I was ready to go back to the hotel room and crash. And then and I don't know, I was going to mention earlier, I was talking on my last live stream. I can't even remember when it was, about when I was filming. We one of the things we got to do with the VIP thing was go to the because we go to the Crew of Centaur parade every time we go down there. This is our 10th year going down with Little Rock Tours, and one of the things we get to do is go to the float loading party the night before. And I was and I should have known better in the first place than to do this, because as clumsy and uncoordinated as I am, and I was completely sober, had not had a drink except for Coke and water. I was trying to go through one of the warehouses and with my camera film and walk at the same time. And apparently I missed a big 3-foot hitch on the front of one of the floats, and I tripped over it and did a face plant, and it was all on video. So that is on my buy me a coffee. So if you want to pay $2 hard-earned dollars to help support the channel and the search for the missing, to see me do a face plant, head over to the buy me a coffee account, and that video is there. Dandy says she's going to share something on Discord. I'm sorry if I missed. I don't know what you're going to share. CJK says, I've heard of Stuck in the Middle. Yep, Steelers Wheel is who sang it. And a lot of my songs and soundtracks that I have come to love have come from Quentin Tarantino movies. I don't know if anybody else here has watched Quentin Tarantino movies. I love every single movie he's ever made. Reservoir Dogs was the very first one I saw. No. Take that back. Pulp Fiction was the very first one I saw in the theater with me and my two brothers. Totally loved it. After we went to see the movie, after seeing the movie one time, afterwards we went to McDonald's to eat, and we were sitting there quoting lines from the movie, just, after seeing it one time, and other people were herding their small children away from us because they thought we were crazy. But after watching Pulp Fiction, I went and bought, and you kids out there remember the VCR tapes, cassette tapes, VCR tapes. I went and bought Reservoir Dogs, which was his first movie. Watched it one time, fell in love with it. And yes, that a lot of my musical taste comes from soundtracks from Quentin Tarantino movies, because he always has the best music. And some of it's obscure music that I would have never heard had I not watched the movie. But anyway, I digress as usual. But one of my other favorite things to talk about besides true crime is movies and music. So yes, Dandy says, in my opinion, it's just an odd case, nothing nefarious, guys having fun. Yeah, like I said, I think it was just the perfect storm of things going wrong, things happening. And Dandy says something is in the general tab. I missed something because Dandy says she'll share on Discord. So let me know what you're going to share. And Mr. Steve says, I think he will be charged if nothing more than to send a message. Exactly. And I had originally talking about, and we're not going to get into this because a lot into what I'm fixing to mention, because it's very, very politically not motivated, politically debated, but with in the Ethan Crumley's school, I don't know if I can say, I'm just going to say the school incident, mass school incident. Ethan Crumley, the mother, Jennifer Crumley, was just convicted of involuntary. And a lot of people are saying that is, like Mr. Steve said, maybe in this case, that conviction was to send a message. Like I said, we're not going to get into that whole, because that turns into political, and this is not a political thing. The most important thing, if we talk about anything about that case, is the victims in that school incident that lost their lives. But anyway, that's just what it reminded me of when Mr. C said, if anybody's charged in the Kansas City case, it would be to send a message. All right. Yeah, CJK says, it is really appalling how F and other substances are flooding into our country. There should be a big push to deter it, including against, wherever it's coming from. And a lot of it is manufactured in the United States. They may get some of the ingredients from different countries, but you know, like I said, I don't know a lot about these substances that are, you know, coming in, the F and everything. That I just know it is horrible, no matter where it comes from. It's horrible, and is a very big problem, and there's got to be some way to figure out how to start getting some of it under control, if there is a way. It's horrible. Yeah, Danny says he should be charged for not reporting the deaths, in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, that is my biggest question is what was he why I mean, what was he doing for those 2 or 3 days, excuse me, that before the police, before the, you know, people were calling, people were banging on the door, the girlfriend of one of them or whatever came, broke in, and then went back out and called the police, and then after the police showed up banging on the door, that's when he decided to come out. What was he doing for those 2 or 3 days? Did he take something that knocked him out for 3 days? But then there's the thing with the dog. Was the dog there? They said the dog was there, and then they said no, the dog or dogs were with his dad or granddad, and then there was maybe I think on Chris's live stream that he did, there was a picture of the back of the house that had a doggy door. So it's also very confusing. I don't know. I'm like you guys. I'm like I have no clue. Um, Dave's listening and driving. You checking on the owls. Be careful out there. Are you driving the Ferrari? So you have to give all of us rides in your Ferrari now, Dave. If anybody is willing to go up to the northeast coast to take a ride in Dave's Ferrari with him and the owls. Oh, now CJK says I like peach margaritas and pina coladas. See, I like peach. Pina coladas, they're okay. I don't really like the coconutty taste, but I'm all for a strawberry margarita, strawberry daiquiri, just some Crown and Coke, you know. And I don't drink that. I don't drink that much anymore. Like I said, I can't handle. I'm getting too old. I can't handle it anymore. I went from drinking like a fish in my teens to when I turned 21, I was tired of it. And then throughout the years, you know, in my late 20s, early 30s, I got into, you know, a little bit more drinking. Um, and then by the time I hit 40, I was like, I can't do the hangovers anymore. So I cut it down to I would have at least one drink on my birthday and maybe a couple of drinks on New Year's Eve, and that was it. And now I've even quit doing that. That one frozen margarita that I had last weekend, that's the first alcohol I've drank in years. Yep, see, that's me too. CJK says if I did drink, one knocks me out. Yep. And I know y'all don't believe me probably when I say that when I face planted, got into a fight with the float, the stationary float, that was before I had that drink. Dandy says our local wineries make peach sangria when it's harvest season. Sounds good. Yes, and that's another point that's been made too. CJK says it's interesting that Jordan checked himself into a rehab center since this all transpired. Yeah. If he had a problem, why didn't he do it before? Or it could be that this was a wake up call for him that said, hey, this is what can happen when you do illegal substances. So maybe I should check myself into rehab and get help. Who knows? Just don't know. I just know, in my opinion, drugs are bad stuff. Now, I do have a family member who is an amputee who does have a medical Mary Jane card. Um, But that's the only, as far as I know. Well, I know other members of my family may partake of the Mary Jane once in a while, but get out of my drink. My cat's trying to drink my tea. But that's about as far as like I said, I took a couple of hits off, 30 something years ago, and I was like, okay, I'm just ready to go to sleep. Didn't do anything for me. Oh, okay. So Danny says she shared music from her night and the music on my Discord or your Discord. So you can pop, Dandy, if you're still here, you can pop your Discord or my Discord if you put it on mine in there. So everybody can enjoy the music you listen to. And if I can figure out how I need to record or figure out how to upload the video that I took of the band that I listened to. Okay, we're 2 hours in and we're not done. We're almost done. I think we're through all the important stories. Not that these others that I had weren't important, but all the stories that I really wanted to talk about tonight. Yeah, so Dandy, just let me know about, you can throw if you put it on my Discord, you can put an invite to my Discord in the chat. Hey, me and Lone Pony agree. Pulp Fiction is one of the best movies. Best quotes for sure. Yeah. Like I said, me and my two brothers went to the theater to see it. Well, after watching it one time, we could just quote the whole movie, and then we've probably watched it hundreds of times since then, and it just gets better every time. Pulp Fiction and to me, any Quentin Tarantino movie, you can watch it a million times, and the more you watch it, the more little things that you find that you miss. It's just, I love it. Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith, and Robert Rodriguez, probably my top three favorite directors. As far as, of course, I love like the Scorsese's and James Cameron, but as far as kind of like independent, it's definitely Tarantino, Kevin Smith, and Robert Rodriguez. I love all their movies. I don't know what that means. CJK says they gave about 62. I don't know what that means. Mostly something about Disney and Kitty ones. Okay. I must have missed something. I'm behind. Dandy says something needs to give in that realm, and children are our responsibility until 18. Absolutely. And there's so many parents that don't want to take responsibility for their children. But then again, you have the question, I mean, you can there are irresponsible parents out there who do not teach their children right from wrong, and that's on the parents, in my opinion. But there are parents out there and grandparents, or these days, aunts, uncles, whoever is raising children, that do their best to teach the kids right from wrong, and it just doesn't take for some reason. And so it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion. Okay, so Dandy says, sorry, I'm talking about Crumley. I'm a lost squirrel right now. Well, I'm a lost squirrely right there with you, sister. CJK says, someone last night said 2 dogs were there. True, I don't know, but no fenced yard, so we'd have to go out and put them on a chain. Yes. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I just remember I was watching Chris's live when he was talking about it, and he showed a zoomed in picture of a doggy, and they were talking about something about a doggy door. But yeah, there was no fence, so yeah, that would definitely have to be on the chain or a leash. Okay, so Lone Pony says, I watched a documentary about Kensing, Kensing, Kensington Street in Philadelphia. Zombies, OMG, it is horrific. Can't explain it. You'd have to see it. Worse than the F substance. So it's about a bad substance. So the name of the documentary is Zombies. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I watch I don't watch a whole lot of, I need to start, but they're watching more stuff about all these. Of course I know about the F and all that stuff. But there are a lot of new things that are being manufactured that I read is here been a while back. I read an article um that either law enforcement and or both and ME medical examiners, when somebody passes from some kind of and if Mr. Steve is still here, if he hasn't given up on us and left, he might can shed some light on it. That there's there's new substances being made, or they're changing the formula of substances that have that way, and somehow in changing just the ingredients or the formula just a little bit, that it makes it almost impossible or very, very hard to test for. As far as law enforcement, they have the little drug testing kits, and as far as medical examiners doing tox reports that won't show up just because of a slight difference in how the substance is made or something. I could be just totally. I hope you guys understood what I'm saying, but like I said, it's been months or maybe a year ago that I was reading or watching this show about that. About how they can just tweak one little ingredient or one little part of the formula, and it makes it really, really hard to test for, to detect. CJK says, I found out tonight that vodka is odorless. I actually knew that. And I don't drink, I can't drink vodka anymore. Vodka gets me. Well, yeah, vodka and tequila. I have to stick to the rum. Anyway, it says that it's used to clean clothes, remove odors. Who knew? Spritz it on just because alcohol was mentioned. Yeah, I just from I grew up with an alcoholic father, although his drink of choice was beer. But yeah, just from reading up on a lot of alcoholics do vodka is their substance of choice because it is odorless and it's harder to detect on the breath. So it's easier to hide the addiction to the alcohol. Well, CJK says I've never watched Pulp Fiction. Um, it depends on. Don't know how to explain it. But it depends on what kind of movies and what kind of subject matter you like. Quentin Tarantino movies are not for everybody. Um, yeah, I said if I knew what type of subject matter that you like in your movies, I could tell you whether or not you might like Pulp Fiction or any other Quentin Tarantino movies. Yeah, Dandy says, I live in Colorado. It's legal here. To each their own. I don't judge. That's the way I am when it comes to the Mary Jane. Like I said, I have a family member due to being an amputee and having a lot of problems after the amputation. She had to have one of her legs amputated between the knee or mid calf, I guess you would call it, and she's had a bunch of problems. So here in Arkansas, Mary Jane is legal as far as medically legal. So she does have a medical Mary Jane card to help with her pain that she has with her amputation. But yeah, I don't judge. to each their own. As long as I say I don't judge as long as whatever you do, whether it be Mary Jane or F or any higher, more hardcore substances, I mean, that's your addiction or your choice to make, as long as you do not hurt anybody else. People like to say, or some people say, that drugs are a victimless crime, but that's not true. In my opinion, that's not true. Even if you don't go out and hurt somebody or rob somebody to get money to buy your substances, you're hurting your family members. But then again, I still don't judge. But it's just addiction is a hard thing to kick. Like I said, I grew up with an alcoholic dad, and addiction is very, very hard to kick. I think I'm getting caught up. Okay, so Lone Pony says, just do a search for Kensington. I can't say that word. Kensington Street, Philadelphia is so unbelievable. Okay, I will definitely check it out. VHS tapes, yes. You saying you remember VHS tapes, CJK? I don't like to ask anybody their ages in here. I mean, if y'all want to volunteer, how old you are. I mean, I have no problem. You know, I'm not ashamed to say how old I am, but Dandy says there's some new substance that's turning people like the zombie ants. Not to be weird, but there's an ant virus that makes them zombies. Google it. Okay, gotcha. See, got some good people in here, some smart people. Oh, that's not old. CJK says I'm old, early 60s. That's not old. I'm gonna be there soon. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in a couple of months. Hey, you're only as old as your mind says you are. But then again, you're only as old as your body says you are too. As I found out after my Mardi Gras experience and my fight that I decided to get into with the float won. But all right. As CJK says, I'm reading about Kensington right now. It's a drug zone with a heavy police presence. Awesome. Thank you for that information. And we'll definitely check it out. I think I'm caught up in comments now, guys. No, we're not too bad. We're just over 2 hours in. We're not doing too bad. I gotta hurry up though, because Dave is gonna be doing a live. Oh, and I forgot the video. I had a video. Let me show it right quick. Because I need to go off camera for a minute to I don't want to be rude and blow my nose in front of everybody, basically. So I did have let me take this down for a minute. A video that gives a little bit of explanation about, we were talking about the Ronald Gene Simmons case earlier, and it's about 3.5 minutes. So if I can do this without completely I'll have to do it from my phone. I'm going to turn off my cam and my sound for a minute while I play this video so I can take care of some business. Oh Lord, hopefully this won't turn into a dumpster fire. Okay, stop cam, mute.
The entire Eyewitness News team.
What happened in Pope County has stunned Arkansas and has rocked the nation. A mass murder of almost unbelievable proportions. 16 dead, including 14 who may be members of the same family. It all started yesterday with a shooting spree in Russellville that left 2 people dead and 4 people wounded. Then, last night, police discovered 5 bodies inside a home in Dover. And today, the grisly recovery of 9 more bodies. We begin our coverage tonight with Stacey Allison in Dover.
Police lines went up just after daybreak this morning as deputies prepared to search for more bodies. They found nothing in the pond, but just a few feet away, someone spotted what looked like a grave. And 2 feet below the ground, a body.
Hold it. There it is.
Not one body, but 7, stacked one on top of the other. Police brought them out in body bags. They believe they are Simmons' wife, Becky, his son, Gene Simmons Jr. of El Paso, a grandchild, and 4 of Simmons' younger children still living at home. 17-year-old Loretta, 15-year-old Eddie, 10-year-old Marianne, and 8-year-old Becky. The sheriff was visibly shaken.
Emotionally, fellas, you never get used to it. You never get used to it. And I have a job to do, and I try to hold up and do that job.
Police believe those in the grave were killed first, possibly Wednesday or Thursday. Then the 5 in the house arrived from out of town. Police say they were probably killed immediately, and along with them, 2 grandchildren, each about 2 years old, found later today in the separate trunks of 2 cars at the house.
Few in this community knew what went on inside of this wall. Neighbors say Gene Simmons and his family lived here in virtual seclusion. So many are not surprised that 14 people could be murdered here Christmas week in secret.
But the killings didn't stop here at the secluded house. 2, Jim Chapin and Kathy Kendrick, were murdered publicly in Russellville on Monday morning, bringing the total number of bodies to 16. Julie Money says she missed Simmons' bullet during a Monday morning shooting spree.
I said, when he looked at me with that gun and pointed that gun on me, he had this just horrid grin on his face. And he looked mad. He just looked mad, and like a mad dog would look at you.
A mad dog, a recluse, a weirdo, and a nice guy. All descriptions of this man. So far, Gene Simmons has said nothing to police, showed no emotion, except at the mention of family.
When they would mention where his family was at, how we could contact his family, and this kind of thing, the investigator said the only thing then that he saw was his bottom lip would quiver.
And the community is quivering too. Those who knew the family feel fear when they think of 16 murders in their small community and no motive.
It's right next door, just a couple houses down. And it was late before we ever got in bed. And I just laid there. I could see those kids' faces. It was scary.
Stacey Allison, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
As authorities were
All right, that was put that back up there. That was yeah, and CJK says, "Oh my gosh." Yes, that was the Ronald Gene Simmons. I was going to show this video earlier when we were talking about the case, Ronald Gene Simmons case. It was in 90 or 87. Yeah, horrible case. But yeah, I just wanted to show that. Plus, I had to blow my nose. I didn't want to be rude and do that on camera. But yeah, and CJK says, I'm not sure if I'd heard about those. Yeah, like I said, it was 87 here in Arkansas. Horrible. Yes. 14 of the victims were his own family members, including all of his children, except I believe the oldest 3 children, son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, grandchildren. Let me put a banner up right quick. The youngest victim was 20 months old. It was one of his grandchildren. One of the other children that lives were taken was a child that he had fathered with his daughter, Becky. This is just a horrible, horrible thing. And like I said earlier, I did do what I call a podcast on my because Dandy put my Buy Me a Coffee up, a podcast where I just read the graphic information. What I read earlier from the Facebook post was not graphic. So if you want to go check it out, $2 and goes for a good cause. It helps support the channel and the search for the missing. So you can go listen. It's only about 15 minutes long. Dandy, I don't know if you can. There is a podcast that came out in November, December 2023. You can find it. I found it on Spotify. You can find it on just about any of those streaming services that do podcasts. It's called The Monster of Pope County. I don't know if Dandy or somebody, if you can do it from a computer or whatever, can snag the link to any of the podcast, any of the streaming services that have that podcast. I've got Spotify, so that's what I'm going to watch it on or listen to it on. And it says is the deepest dive that's ever been done on this case, with information and interviews with people who have never spoken before about the case, who are involved in the case. Horrible case. Yep. All right. Oh, let me make this go back to full screen so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see what we got next. So we have this, once again, going back to the illegal substances. If I can get my computer to, we have this horrible incident with the 6 people who were found deceased in, let's see if I can find the article, the California desert, and I think it had to do with Mary Jane deal gone bad. So this is from AP from January 30th. And it says the 6 men found deceased at a remote dirt crossroads in the Southern California desert last week were likely shot in a dispute over Mary Jane. Sheriff's officials said Monday as they announced the arrest of 5 men suspected in the violence. Authorities discovered the bodies Tuesday in the Mojave Desert outside El Mirage after someone called 911 and said in Spanish that he had been shot, said San Bernardino County Sheriff Sergeant Michael Warwick said during a news interview. All the victims were likely shot and 4 of the bodies had been partially burned together, Warwick said. A 5th victim was found inside a Chevy Trailblazer, and the 6th was discovered nearby the following day. Quote, it looks like illicit Mary Jane was the driving force behind these homicides, Sheriff Shannon Dicus said, adding that the area is known for illegal growing operations. There's some statistics in here that just blew my mind. The scene showed a, quote, level of violence reminiscent of a cartel, but investigators couldn't immediately confirm that cartels were involved. 5 men ranging in age from 24 to 34 were arrested and 8 firearms were seized after deputies served search warrants Sunday in the Adelanto and Apple Valley areas of San Bernardino County and the Pinon Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles County. Officials said investigators believe all the suspects in the case are now in custody. They are being held without bail. Authorities identified 4 of the victims. And then there was a 45-year-old man whose name was withheld pending family notification. And these names of the victims, I'm going to try not to butcher them. Baltimore Mondragon Albaron, 34, Franklin Noel Benia, 22, Kevin Darrell Benia, 25, and then the 45-year-old who was not named. All right, let's get down to these statistics. Investigators believe that Franklin Bonilla was the man who called 911. California voters, and once again, let's not make this political. We can have adult discussions about this. California voters legalized recreational M in 2016. The state has become the world's largest legal cannabis marketplace since then, with billions in annual sales. But the illegal market continues to thrive. Dicus called the black market, quote, a plague that results in violence. And he called on lawmakers to reform cannabis laws to, quote, keep legalization but revert to harsher penalties for users of the illegal Mary Jane. Overhead footage from TV stations last week showed a dark blue SUV with a passenger window blown out, another door open. We probably all seen that footage. So this says the area, some 50 miles northeast of Los Angeles, is so remote that the sheriff's department called in help from the California Highway Patrol's Aviation Division to find the scene. In 2020, 7 people were fatally shot at an illegal Mary Jane growing operation in a small rural town in neighboring Riverside County. More than 20 people lived on the property, which had several makeshift dwellings used for the production of honey oil, a potent cannabis concentrate. And I never knew honey oil, or even what honey oil is, and that it was used in the making of a cannabis concentrate. So that is, I thought I had an article that gave us statistics about, maybe this is it, some statistics about this area. If I can get it to come up. Once again, it's being slow. Hang in with me, guys. Let me get down to these. It's talking about 5 suspects have been charged. I'm not going to give their names because they are hard to pronounce too. Sergeant Michael Warwick of San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said, as far as the motives, we're confident this appears to be a dispute over Mary Jane, which resulted in the homicides. Where is that information I'm looking for? Okay, it says this mass homicide done in a dark, secluded desert clearly illuminates the violence and crime that exists as a direct consequence of illegal operations, said San Bernardino County District Attorney Jason Anderson. I commend the sheriff's investigative team for their rapid and thorough work and send my condolences to the families of the victims. Sheriff Shannon Dicus declined to say whether the crime was related to cartel activity, but he did say that violent confrontations over illegal Mary Jane are not uncommon in San Bernardino County, especially in the Shadow Mountains area in the Mojave Desert. He said this is the area that's known for illicit growing. Based on our training and experience, we believe a lot of these things occurring may be related to much bigger things going on. Authorities later recovered 8 firearms during the arrest at a compound in Pinon Hills near Los Angeles County. I would describe it as a compound. It was close to a grow being formed, but not active yet. So these are the statistics that blew my mind. It says in 2023, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department served 411 search warrants for illegal grows. They recovered 655,000 plants and $370 million. That blows my mind. It says, since we've been investigating illegal grows, a number of body dumps have been related to this across our county. So those statistics just blew my mind. I mean, I knew that that drugs are a big problem, but yes, and I agree with Dandy. Oh shoot, hold on, gotta go back out in the end. It's cutting off my. Dandy says it's not the W, it's the Fent and H taking people out. Yeah, I agree. In my opinion. And Dandy also says, I just don't believe W is the force. I think more along the lines of yep. And you know, a lot of people say that Mary Jane is the gateway drug. I mean, it could be. And I think when it comes to what they call the so-called, usually referring to Mary Jane as a gateway drug, I think it's on individual basis. Some people, in my opinion, have a more addictive personalities. They get addicted to things more easily. So I think it's just on individual basis. Because like I said, I tried it once and I never wanted, I never did it again. My family member, they just do it for the pain they have from the amputation. But I mean, I think it's individuals, because some individuals do have, no matter if it's illegal substances, any kind of illegal, alcohol, any kind of sexual proclivities or fetishes. There's all different things that people with what I call addictive personalities, can become addicted to more easily than others. I hope that made sense. I don't know if it did or not. Let's see what I've missed here. I think Dave is back. I see Dave. Yeah, Al on the Prowl. Everybody loves your new name, Dave. Yeah, as soon as I heard it, I thought it was fitting because he checks on the owls. And I kind of likened it to Al on the Prowl when he's researching and sussing out all his awesome information he finds out about and brings to us in his lives. I know I don't even know what time it is. It's just 11:34 here. Dave is probably getting ready to do his live, so I need to get off of here so I can go to his live. And anybody else that's still here and up, please, when Dave starts his live, if he's not hadn't already, I haven't got a notification yet that he has started his live. I'm definitely going to be there. So if any of you guys can stay up and join, please follow us over there. Follow me over there. Or if not, if you can't stay up late, please do watch the replay. Dave always has very good, excellent information. Thank you, CJK. Says, thanks so much, Southern Gal. I'm hitting the hay. I hope I get your next notification. Thank you for being here, CJK. It was thank you, everybody who's here. We're almost done. I think I may be fixing to shut it down because my voice and my throat are giving out on me. And we covered everything. I think all the most important things that I wanted to talk about tonight. But I want to finish. I want to get caught up in comments if my voice will let me. I apologize for drinking so much on camera, but whatever it is, virus or bug that I picked up is not going away. That's a good point. Dandy says, Mary is a gateway to the fridge. Alcohol is the one to blame, in her opinion. Yeah. Like I said, I grew up with a alcoholic father. And when he wasn't drinking, he was the best father, the best man in the world. But unfortunately, when the alcohol or any substance gets a hold of you, it's so hard to shake. I think oh, no. Dave's not here, man. I know that is from a movie that I've watched numerous times, but for the life of me right now, I cannot think of the movie. I can hear it. I can hear that line. Dandy, you're going to have to remind me what that's from. Oh, Dave says, you're good. I'm just loving this live. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody. Now that's going to drop. Dandy, you're going to have to tell me or somebody, Dave's not here, man. I can hear that line, but I can't. And I watched that movie. I can't think of what it is, though. My mind is shutting down. Oh, geez. Yep, Dave is definitely an owl on the prowl. Okay, I'm caught up in comments. Let's see if what else I had. Does anybody want to talk about Scott Peterson and the Los Angeles Innocent Project taking up his case? If so, we can. If not, we can either talk about anything you guys want to talk about, or we can shut it down for the night. I will leave it up. Oh God, how can I? Yeah, Cheech and Chong. Duh. How can I not know? Remember, it was Cheech. I could hear it plain as day. Yeah, Cheech and Chong. Oh my gosh. And I love talking about Cheech and Chong. It was just Christmas time. Their Cheech and Chong's Christmas song they have. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but when I'm talking about the magic dust that Santa brings that makes the that makes the reindeers fly. Oh my God. God, I'm getting loopy. Maybe it is time to shut it down. Dave says he's something. Yeah, you're something, Dave. We hadn't figured out what yet, but you're something. No, you're good, Dave. Everybody loves Dave. I love everybody here. That, in all seriousness, everybody who here in chat tonight, who attends chats, who watches replay, who watches my videos, who likes, shares, comments, all those things are just so greatly appreciated by me. They help my channel. The more subs, likes, shares, comments I get, the more YouTube will push out this maybe not this particular information, but the really important information that I usually put out, the missing persons and cold cases. And Dandy says, see you soon, Dave. Yep, so Dandy may be with I think Dandy's usually there. Sometimes for Dave's lives. But yeah, I appreciate everything. Everybody who supported me from the beginning, everybody who's supporting me now, everybody who will continue to support me in the future. I hope I'm doing the true crime world justice or doing the victims of these missing persons and cold cases justice, to sharing them to the best of my ability with all honesty, transparency, and the best information to give as I know it. I learned, once again, I learned from one of the best, from Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve, about how to do it right. And I hope I'm doing it right. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Dandy. There's a link to Dave Out on the Prowl's channel. So, yeah, Dave said, hats off to Coach Kev for reaching 1,000 subs. I know I've seen him on somebody else's channel. Oh, who is it? Somebody remind me. Who is Coach Kev? I don't think I've actually watched his channel, but he's been a guest on another channel that I watched. But for the life of me, once again, my brain is, I can't think of of the channel that I've seen him on. But yeah, hats off to anybody, everybody, any channel who is, and Dave says Coach is a great guy. Yeah, from whatever channel I've seen him on, he's one of the ones, and the channel that I've seen him on is one of the ones that are doing this for the right reasons, the right way, or otherwise I wouldn't be watching them. But like I said, just for where the channel I've seen him be a guest on a few times, it's not coming to me right now. But so no comments about Mr. Scott Peterson. I don't even know how long. Let me just see if I can find the article, because I know that's a hot mess when it comes to debating the whole Scott Peterson case too. I mean, of course I know about the Scott Peterson case, the basics of what happened, but I don't know enough I've never deep dive researched it to know the ins and outs to make, in my opinion, if he's guilty or innocent. But I mean, he was convicted in a court of law. The innocence I will say though, and this is not the Innocence Project, it's the Los Angeles Innocence Project, but in my opinion, these innocence projects can be a double-edged sword. Of course, you don't want to see anybody in prison that is innocent. So in that sense, if the Innocence Project can get involved and, get somebody free that's innocent, that's great. But on the other side, if they get involved, because the Innocence Project was, and I don't know once again if it was the National Innocence Project or whatever, but one of the Innocence Projects was heavily involved in the West Memphis 3 case, and I'm still, I go back and forth on the West Memphis 3 case, because I can make, in my opinion, in my thoughts, I can make a case for the Eccles and Miss Kelly and Baldwin being guilty, and then I can make there's some other evidence that's come to light and that can make a case that they're innocent and somebody else may have done it. But in my opinion, and the general consensus around Arkansas is, and I'm not by no means a lawyer, I'm not an expert on the judicial system, but in my opinion, the evidence or lack of evidence they had in the West Memphis 3 case, even if they are guilty, in my opinion and a lot of other people's opinions, they should not have been convicted on the evidence or lack of evidence that was presented and not presented by the prosecution in that case. But that is a story for another time. I'm actually planning on, I keep pushing it off because other things keep coming up, but sometime in the near future, I am planning on doing a series of videos regarding the West Memphis 3 case. It's not going to be any new earth-shattering new information, but just because I only live, West Memphis is an hour and a half down the road from me, and of course, I was in my mid-20s when it happened. It was all over the news, so I know all about it, and I wanted to just give the basic information about it in bite-sized chunks, separate a series of videos, and then just kind of give my perspective of how people in my town and in the surrounding community and in the Bible Belt reacted to this case. I do have an opinion, just my opinion, on part of the reason why the why Eccles and Miss Kelly and Baldwin were convicted. But like I said, sometime in the near future, hopefully, I will start working on that series. So please, you guys, let me know if you'd be interested in that. All right, I think I don't think I'm going to read all this about Peterson unless anybody wants to hear it, because 3 hours in. So Dave says Coach is a great guy, even though he's a Michigan fan. Hey, it's a good thing Michigan wifey's not here. She'd be getting you, Dave. Dave said, let's do it. Do what? The Scott Peterson? Okay, I'll just, and Dandy says Scott Peterson is sick. Yeah, at the very least, he's, let me see if I can get the article come up. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Let's see. There it is. I'll just read you about what it says about the Los Angeles Innocence Project, if it'll come up once again, and then we'll get out of here because my voice is about to give out. But thank you so much for everybody who's been here and participating, everybody who's watching replay. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you want to buy me a coffee, if you want to PayPal me, grab some merch from the merch shop, anything to help support the channel and the search for the missing, because a portion of anything donated and from purchasing of merchandise goes to a very special nonprofit organization that goes out and helps search free of charge, helps families search for their missing loved ones, and works on cold cases. And anybody who's a regular here knows who I'm talking about. Okay, so this is from ABC News. It is from January 18th, and it says Scott Peterson case taken up by Los Angeles Innocence Project. The Los Angeles Innocence Project has taken up the notorious case of convicted offender Scott Peterson in new court filings. ABC News was first to report on Thursday. The group is seeking new evidence from the original trial. So apparently, I haven't been keeping. So you guys, let me know in comments. Whoever's still here, there's 3 people here right now. Let me know. Is there new evidence from the original trial that was found? I haven't been keeping up. So Lacey Peterson, sorry, I'm killing ads. Lacey Peterson, who was 27 years old and 8 months pregnant, disappeared on Christmas Eve in 2002. Her body was found in San Francisco Bay in April of 2003. Scott Peterson, 51, was arrested and charged with first degree. We all know this, blah, blah, blah. He was convicted in 2004 and sentenced to the DP in 2005. He was later sentenced to life without. Attorneys with the LA Innocence Project claimed that Peterson's state and federal constitutional rights were violated, including a, quote, claim of actual innocence that is supported by newly discovered evidence, end quote, according to the court filings. So I have not heard about this newly discovered evidence. So you researchers out there, let me know. I know Dandy's a good researcher. Dave's a good researcher. So new quote, according to somebody, I guess somebody from the Innocence Project says, quote, new evidence now supports Mr. Peterson's longstanding claim of innocence and raises many questions, into who abducted and took the life of Lacey and baby Connor Peterson, the filings state. His attorneys are seeking dozens of items they say they could not locate after reviewing the trial files from his prior counsel, quote, after a thorough search, according to the filings. The items include evidence from the investigations into a December 2002 burglary of a home across the street from the Petersons' house, Lacey's missing Croton watch, I'm assuming that's a brand, and a van fire in the airport district on December 25th, 2002, according to the filings. They are also seeking documents from interviews with several witnesses. Paula, excuse me, Paula Mitchell, the director of the LA Innocence Project, said she found, quote, deficiencies while reviewing the discovery of Scott Peterson's case and sent a letter to Stanislaus County District Attorney Jeff Ligero on November 14th, 2023, quote, seeking informal production of numerous specific items of post-conviction discovery, end quote, whatever that means, according to a declaration included in the filings. The letter, quote, includes private identifying information concerning numerous citizens, potential material witnesses, and possible suspects, as well as sensitive investigative leads relating to Mr. Peterson's claim of innocence, information that was referenced throughout various police reports, tip sheets, and other investigative materials from both the prosecution and the defense that I reviewed, she said in her declaration. Mitchell also said during her investigation, she has come across numerous witnesses who, quote, numerous witnesses who have expressed hesitation or, quote, outright willingness, to provide information due to the high profile nature of the case. Scott Peterson, who pled not guilty, has maintained his innocence and claimed he received an unfair trial based on possible jury misconduct. His lawyers have previously claimed that a woman known as Juror 7 had not disclosed involvement in other legal proceedings. In 2020, the California Supreme Court overturned the DP and commuted it to life without parole. In December 2022, Superior Court Judge Ann Christine Masulo denied Scott Peterson's, quote, relief in his appeal based on stealth juror accusations. Scott Peterson's attorney, Pat Harris, said in a statement to ABC News on Thursday that they are, quote, thrilled to have the incredibly skilled attorneys at the LA Innocence Project and their expertise becoming involved in the efforts to prove Scott's innocence. The LA Innocence Project, which provides pro bono legal, blah, 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 said in a statement later on Thursday that it is representing Scott Peterson and, quote, investigating his claim of actual innocence. And we have no further comment at this time. Mike Belmesseri, who served as a juror in Scott Peterson's trial, told ABC News on Thursday that there isn't a day that goes by where he hasn't thought about the case. He said he supports the LA Innocence Project's review of the case. That's interesting. And he says if I think they're going to find something different that sheds light on something new, I fully support it. So that's what the latest, or what the Los Angeles Innocence Project has to say about why they are taking up his case. All right. Oh, I love it, Dandy says, please hit that like and share, wave it in the air like you just don't care. Oh, you know, you're going to have that song going through my head the rest of the night. You'll have me dancing. Trust me, nobody wants to see me dance. Now, maybe after I've had a drink or two, maybe, but then I'll get into a fight with another float and end up on the face planting again. Yeah, thank you, Dandy. She's getting all my links up there. Yes, please subscribe if you like to get updates and live notifications. Yes, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button. Share, share, share. Watch, watch, watch. I checked. I did a community post earlier. Only need, last time I checked, a little over 70 more to qualify for, as I understand it, the new limited monetization policy that YouTube has implemented. you can only have to have 500 subs, and I think I need just a little over 70 more subs, and either 3,000 watch hours, which I'm over 2,000, it's like 2,070 something watch hours I have, or 3 million shorts watches, which that'll never happen. So if I can get 70 something more subs and 900 and something more watch hours, I can at least qualify for super stickers and super chats. So watch, and share, and sub. No, but seriously, anything and everything is appreciated. Subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, those are all free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just 2 seconds to push that like button, share, like, share, comment. If you would like to help support the channel, buy me a coffee account, PayPal. I set up a PayPal me, merch shop. Every little thing helps. Like I said, it not only helps support the channel and me, it helps portion is donated to help find the missing. All right, let me get through some comments before we wrap it up here. So Dave says, as much as I hate this guy, I'm not super convinced he's guilty. Yeah, since this thing with the Innocence Project came out, I've been kind of reading up more on it. This burglary thing, it makes me think. Now, I hadn't heard about that article mentioned something about some kind of van fire or something, but yeah, the burglary thing, and I think Mr. Steve, he's probably long gone by now in bed, but or he's gone to join Dave. I gotta get out of here so Dave can get his. We can go watch Dave. But he did a live talking about this Scott Peterson case, and that's one thing that he said is that, something about the burglary. If they can prove or disprove, it might maybe not. He didn't. I don't think it said it would maybe sway his judgment, but it's just something to think about, and until it is proven or disproven. Reasonable doubt, or beyond a reasonable doubt. All right, got anything else? All right, guys, I think I'm caught up in chat, and we've been on here. We're almost at the 3-hour mark. My voice is giving out, so oh goodness, am I still there? Yep, I'm still here. Okay, so I'm going to end it here so I can give my voice a rest, and we can go watch Dave. Anybody who's going to stay up, if not, please do catch it on replay. So thank you everybody who sat and who participated in chat. Dandy, Dave, Mr. Steve graced us with his presence. I'm gonna start repeating myself. Mexie was here, Michelle C was here. Just trying to go down through the comments. CJK was here. I don't want to miss anybody. If I miss you, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get back up to the top of comments. Everybody that was here, Lone Pony, everybody that was here, thank you so much for participating in chat. I appreciate it greatly. Everybody who's watching replay, thank you so much. Everybody's support is, as always, truly appreciated. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask again. Thank you so much once again. Like, share, sub, comment, all that good stuff. Check out the merch and the Buy Me a Coffee. And I will probably do a live stream for my during the day on Monday, because I'm trying to do some during the day so some other folks who can't be here at night can attend some live. So Monday I'll probably do a live stream 10 or 11-ish in the morning Central Time for my missing person Monday episode, but I will get it scheduled ahead of time to let you guys know. So until then, everybody, please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.